Welcome back to the community stage here at the PlayStation Experience 2015. Oh, hello, Beanbag section. Hi, guys. How are you? I am so excited for this. I've got Nick Accordino here with me, and we are about to see Gravity Rush HD. Gravity Rush Remastered.
Yes.
One of my favorite Vita games. One of my just all-time favorite games.
Oh, thank you.
I am so excited to see this coming to the PS4.
Yep.
I am so ready for you to show it off.
I'm very ready to show it off, too.
Excellent. So set us up for the area of the game that we're in here. We're kind of early game.
Sure, yes. We're actually going to be going into Stage 6. The world of Hexville, which is where the story takes place, is kind of being torn apart. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of kind of interdimensional portals opening up. Weird things are happening. So the next mission is actually going to take us on a mission to try and put things right. So that's where we're going.
And if people have not played Gravity Rush before, let's give kind of the top line of what happens, what's going on.
So our heroine, Kat, wakes up in this really mysterious city with her memories gone, right? And she finds out that when she's near this very cute, very mysterious little cat, she actually has control of gravity. She has gravitational powers. So she can actually set the direction of gravity, climb on walls, fly through the air. She's actually falling.
Yeah.
But it lets her do a lot of really cool things, and she quickly falls into the role of being a heroine in this city. So she's trying to do her best to make things right, at the same time not make anybody angry.
Right.
Right.
That's awesome. And I love this because it really does when you're using Kat's powers.
Yes.
She just looks like she's falling. She looks like she's out of control falling.
It's definitely a rush.
And it's one of my favorite things because it doesn't look like flying. It doesn't look like she's fully in control of anything.
Yep. So let's get into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we're going to begin the mission right now. Kind of the first thing we can show off is this cool comic book style. You know, I really describe this, and Toyama-san, who's the director, has gone on record as saying that it's really inspired by those like Mobius comics from the 70s and 80s. It's got that beautiful Franco-Belgian look to it. So not too Eastern, not too Western, something kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Has this nice soft glow. If you remember on the Vita version, you could actually move the Vita and swipe through these pages. We can actually do that too. You can notice you can kind of move it around just like this. Everything from the Vita version in terms of controls has been transferred pretty beautifully to the DualShock 4. And that's from our good friends at Blue Point Games.
Nice.
In addition to Japan Studio, who put this out. You know, Blue Point are the guys that put out the Nathan Drake collection. They've done work on the Eco and Shadow Colossus collection.
Yep.
Done a bunch of great stuff. So in terms of remasters, we couldn't have put this in any better person's hands.
They are the guys to handle it for sure.
So here we are getting sucked into this other realm by the creator. And let's get going. So I'm going to kind of skip through a bit of the dialogue just so that I can make sure to show you guys some of the action. I'd like to show off some of the controls too. So very simply, left stick is going to move Kat around. X is going to jump. And then Kat's main mode of attacking is actually kicks. So these are our enemies right here. They're called the Nebi. And they conveniently have these nice weak points on top of them that let me target them pretty easily. But again, the game is called Gravity Rush, right?
Yep.
So Kat can actually float in the air when I hit the R button. And then I can kind of freely fly around, or I should say fall around, and go wherever I like. So I'm actually going to aim at this guy down here, hit square, to do a nice homing attack just like that.
Man, it's like the most satisfying feeling in the world, too.
And you'll notice these Nevi come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're a little bit trickier to hit than others. Bear with me, this guy likes the side of this building. Ooh. Oh, we'll get him.
Wow. Wow, Nick.
He's trying to show me up. Oh, there we go. All right.
He knew you're live streaming right now.
Only 8 times to hit that first enemy, right? So yeah, we're going to be kind of following the flowers over here. They're going to go from point to point, show us where to go. And if you haven't noticed, Gravity Rush is it's a great open world game. Definitely on Vita, that was hugely unique. Beautiful open world games like this, I think, are very few and far between. So, it's just a
and
pleasure.
what I love about Gravity Rush is you're looking at this open world and you're thinking about like, well, I'll follow these paths, I'll go on the tops of these buildings. But something you really get used to the more you're playing the game is I can go on the underside of everything.
You can.
Every bridge has a top and a bottom. Every building has a system of pipes and earth underneath it.
We can fight on walls, we can fight on ceilings, we can go anywhere. You'll notice, see that there's a bit of debris scattered over here. We can actually pick that up. It's another one of Cat's powers, and toss them at enemies. So there's a bunch of different ways to take out the bad guys over here.
Also, if you're kind of a troll, you can just walk around on the street and float people randomly and make them fall on their face.
You can make them fly with you in the air.
Maybe I found that hilarious for like a really long time.
Yep.
Maybe I still find that hilarious. Maybe I'm a terrible person. It's fine.
We have all these gems over here. The purple gems you see are actually going to let us level Cat up. So she has a bunch of really cool abilities that you can all strengthen. We also have, if you remember in the Vita game, because I know you were a fan, you could actually swipe the touch screen to make Cat dodge. That's actually mapped to the touchpad now.
Oh, great.
So very easily accessible. And if you hadn't noticed, the more distance I get from these enemies, the harder we actually hit. So there we go. Now we expose some weak points. Notice this guy kind of has a trident attached to him. But again, like I said, we can fight on the sides of walls, on the sides of buildings.
And in bringing it, you're mentioning some of these changes, like the dodge is now is now on the touchpad.
Right.
In bringing it over from the Vita, what were some of the challenges? What were some of the changes? And what's the same about the way we control?
I think everything has been translated really naturally, actually. If you were at all using a combination of the gyro in the Vita, in that motion sensor, and the right stick, which is how I used to play, you should be right at home here. You should be able to do everything that you normally could. Yeah. So again, we're just kind of following the path up here. We have a cool little area over here. You can see all these nice gems lined up. So we're not only like seeking out enemies, we're also trying to grab as many of these as possible. If you remember, you can also do a gravity slide on the Vita version. That was by holding the back touchpad.
Yeah.
And this one, it's actually mapped to L2 and R2. So it's a bit easier to do. Trying to catch some guys in the air right now.
Yeah. So as we're floating and we're following, we have kind of different things going on with our meter there.
Yes.
And as we're hitting enemies, it's affecting our meter. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So the blue meter right there is kind of our stamina. The more we are in this kind of gravity mode right now, you'll notice I'm actually on a ceiling right now.
Yeah.
See the direction of Cat's hair?
You can see her hair.
Pointed up. That's actually pointing into what we know is normal gravity. So when that runs out, we'll actually be in trouble. So you want to make sure that all of the attacking you do, everything is within that time limit, basically. So you can't just float around forever and ever.
But as you're comboing and things like that, the meter is freezing for split seconds. So if you can chain things and get really good at falling with style, then you can make that meter last a really long time.
Exactly. And again, that's something that you can level up as you're playing the game. So, no real problems there. You can definitely make Cat stronger in all sorts of different ways. So you notice apples are kind of a big theme throughout the game. It's an Isaac Newton reference, I think it's really cool. So what we actually did right now is we just acquired a new move. Get a little snapshot here. It's the Spiral Claw. So some of the enemies that we're actually going to be fighting are a little bit trickier to hit in the air, kind of like that guy we were trying to fight before. Let's see if I can home in on this guy. Notice how I kind of slipped right past him? just like that.
Yeah.
So if I hit triangle instead, we'll do this move. It'll kind of pull them in on them and take them out just like that. So in like that, we will be acquiring all sorts of new moves, leveling Cat up, really expanding our arsenal of what we can do.
And that's great, because like you're saying, even though we're in a specific mission right now, this is an open world game. You're in a giant city, so as you're unlocking more and more of these abilities, you're definitely able to find new things as you're moving along.
That's right.
New side missions. I mean, you were right when you were saying it. Like, it was really just unbelievable to me because this was close to the launch of the Vita. This was one of the first Vita games I grabbed.
Yep.
And just for it to be such a huge world with so much going on, really kind of just like surprised me and really showed me kind of like the things that we could expect from the Vita. And it's really exciting to be able to show people sort of something, if they don't have a Vita, if they didn't pick up a Vita, this sort of gem that they missed, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the audience on the PS4, you know, we have a lot of amazing Vita fans that know exactly how wonderful this game is and are anxious to experience it again. But you know, at the same time, there's a lot of people that might have not had a chance to play the game. So being able to show this, especially knowing that Gravity Rush 2 is on the way soon.
Yeah.
We want people to be caught up with the story. We want them to be used to the way Cat controls and just kind of know this beautiful universe. Because the next game too is going to be pretty astounding. And again, also on PS4. So the more we can do to get people familiar, you know, I think the happier we will all be.
I mean, that's going to be such a huge game. It's great that people are going to be able to jump in with this first one.
So you'll see we're not only fighting little guys, I actually have a boss fight up here. So if I horribly embarrass myself again, there's a better reason for it.
Great. I believe in you. Your magic is real, Nick.
Right. So you can see this guy also has some of those weak points. I don't know if you can see him too easily. Not too hard to figure out where they are. That's right at his eyes.
Nice.
He hits pretty hard though, so I'm gonna try and make sure I stay out of his way.
Nice.
One more should do it. Yep, and now that we did that, he's kind of expanded outward.
Nick, we're going to be jumping to a panel here in just a minute, but I wanted you to be able to talk about some of the extra stuff that's going to be included here on the PS4 version.
Absolutely. So I'll jump out of that so that you can all experience the rest of that boss fight for yourselves. I promise that guy hits pretty hard, so it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the great new features in the game is this gallery mode we have. It actually has over 600 pieces of concept art and things that you probably have not seen before. I definitely have not. So, you know, here in the West, where we might not have gotten, you know, a really cool art book for Gravity Rush,
sure.
I think this is pretty great. I mean, I've certainly never seen these concept art images of Cat at all. Completely unrecognizable, if you ask me.
And like you said, the environments and sort of the design and the influence of this game comes from so many things that we don't normally see in games.
Yes.
So it's kind of fun to be able to go through and actually see this cool artwork.
Yep.
Because it's so different than what you would normally see.
Yep. All the enemies are in here. All of the movies in the game, the cutscenes are also in here.
That is awesome.
But yeah, so the game has you know, upped visuals, 1080p, runs at 60 FPS. So
great.
It's great. It's got this great gallery mode, and actually all 3 pieces of DLC that came on the Vita version eventually are actually included in the package.
That is so awesome. Nick, thank you so much, man, for coming and showing this off.
Welcome.
PlayStation